voter ballots. We're actually getting ready to send out our permanent ballots right now. So we'll be sending those out this week, and then hopefully by Thursday. And then you can always vote in person on election day. But we're just not doing the early election over at the Freight House for this election. Also, due to only having 2 precincts now, and this election is expected to be a low turnout, we've only reached out to 2/3 of our inspectors. We tend to go with people that have worked the election for a while. And, but I do keep everybody's name because we really appreciate everyone's help. So next year, we will need more people. But right now, we have, we try to stick with 10, counting the chairs and the co-chairs per precinct. And then we have our AV counting board as well. Also, the public accuracy test will be October 28th at 2 p.m. And if you haven't received, everybody should have received a postcard on the new polling place and the new ID cards. They've all been mailed out. So if you have not received an ID card in the mail or a postcard telling you about the new polling places now Willis Baptist Church, then please let the clerk's office know so we can take care of that. The deputy clerk and I attended the Bureau of Election Conference in Lansing on September 1st, or September 2nd and 3rd. It was very informative. We didn't know at the time that this is the first one that they were doing. So they have some tweaking to do. Like I sat on the floor and up against a wall for the first 3 classes I attended. They didn't have really good control of the board and screens. The font was small, but they did have a lot of good information, and they're bringing a lot of changes that we should see in 2026. Also, the budget, as you may already know, the state has not approved the budget for their upcoming year their fiscal year begins October 1st. This is concerning in many levels, but to us, it will affect us. Hopefully it won't affect us, but it could affect us in receiving our state revenue sharing, and that we usually get one. Our first check would be October, and then we would get another one in December. So hopefully they get this resolved before then, before October 1st deadline. Also, the board, all of us will be receiving our information for the planning our budget for the next fiscal year, and we'll get that from the supervisor's office at the November meeting. And we'll have until January to review it, and then in January we'll have our public budget hearing on that. Also, I received a concern email about alarm sirens, and we had talked about this in the previous board. It seemed kind of extreme to go like every so many feet or whatever. I'm not exactly sure what they had proposed at the time, but this gentleman is saying that he's near the intersection of Stoneham Drive and Bemis Road. And on September 6th, there was a monthly siren test, and they could barely hear it. And I don't know if everybody has that issue, like if you can't hear the sirens. I know a lot of people, you get notices on your phones now, it comes across the TV. But it's something that this gentleman asked me to bring up at the meeting and see if there's some way that we could just make sure that everyone in the township hears a siren if there's an emergency. So I don't know how far that would have to be, you know. And I just want to thank this board. I appreciate you guys, all the support and hard work, and I enjoy working with you all. We make a great team. And thank you for all the residents that voted for us and put us on these seats. And that's it.
All right, you want to make a motion to approve the warrant? We do the warrants, yeah?
No, my report first, and then
Do the clerk's report?
Second.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye. And then I would make motion to approve warrants 28664 through 28736.
All right, Adams?
Yes.
Garrett?
Yes.
Gifter?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Green?
Yep.
Crane?
Yep.
Cobb, yes. Wallace, yes. All right, Susan, you got anything particularly special for us?
Yeah. So, first I want to really thank my staff for the all the tax collection that they did the week previous to the deadline, especially September 14th. It's always crazy, it's always a lot of work, and for some reason this year, my deputy was telling me that it was like almost double the amount of traffic, the checks, the cash that were coming in, and it's really stressful for the staff just to process so much money, which is in the millions of dollars, and we also process a high volume of money that comes in from the two biggest mortgage companies with payments that are in escrow. And it's so busy that we also have, I want to also thank Patty for assisting. She's also trained on cashiering, so we had everybody, all three cashiers. Marcia helps, even though she's billing coordinator, she still is a cashier in my office. So I was told it was just really crazy busy, so I do want to thank them, and so the residents know what hard work they do, especially the weeks before, especially when the tax deadlines are due, so twice a year. And we're always collecting money every day, and then we also have the water bill every other month, so it just was particularly busy for them this year. So I do want to thank Joanne, my deputy, Kathleen especially, who's our main cashier, that's just all she does, and Marcia, the billing coordinator, and again Patty, who assisted with that. So one thing I've been thinking about adding to the website, and I don't know if I mentioned it here at a board meeting or maybe just talking to one of the board members, but on my website, the treasurer's website, we have a dollar bill that reflects the breakout of the property taxes. And I know when it was first done, I don't know if it was 2020, 2019, it was a number of years ago, it was a real good visual for people. People gave us a lot of good feedback that they really enjoyed that breakout, being able to look at it that way on the dollar bill, maybe not necessarily the information when they finally learned where all the money was going, but it does need to be updated, and I will do that. We usually don't update it every year because it doesn't really vary that much, but I'm going to update it. But I'm also going to add the dollar bill that reflects the personal property. So that's the money we get in from businesses, and I think it would be really eye-opening to people to understand the money that we do collect from businesses and how much that is, and maybe give information of the breakout where that goes, because it can be confusing to people, and the information isn't out there for people, number one, and number two, through the years, you know, when we've had discussions about businesses coming into the township, there would be people saying, well, we're not going to collect that much money from them. And that wasn't necessarily true, or there was miscommunication about what our part of the revenue, what we would get for the township. So I'd like to at least put it out there to show what we're currently getting and from who, not necessarily the smaller businesses, because I can maybe just lump those together, but just for education for people, and I think that would be helpful. So I'm going to be working on that this fall and get that out there along with the update for the property taxes. And also, I thought I had one more thing for treasurer's office. Oh, well, yes, I did email the financial reports to the board for the cash summary and the investment report. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, I think that is it. So that's my report.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the trustees, treasurer's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You know, one thing I forgot to say, Todd, I just wanted to thank John, and I noticed he left, John Cass. He came and filled in the sidewalk and put dirt around it, because we had a big gap after we got the new sidewalk installed and stuff, and put grass seed down for us. And I asked him for a bill and he would not give me a bill.
Very
And I
good.
wanted to thank him for that.
We'll write it up on his community service sheet. Perfect. All right, the assessor doesn't have anything right now.
Oh, yeah,
Farmland
he did.
did, doesn't he?
Yeah, so you could just make a motion to accept
All
it
right.
as, yeah, submitted.
All right,
I
we'll make a
saw
motion to
something
accept the,
from
set. What is, you have it, William?
Yeah, I'm looking, you got it?
How about the last
Yeah.
one? Okay, that thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'll read that off.
Yeah, I got it here. So monthly summary of activities from the assessing department, for August of 2025. They filed the PTAs, the PREs that are new this, for this month. Assessing is now working on the 2026, database. Tribunal, no appeals filed for 2025. All deadlines have passed. It does not appear we will have any appeals for 2025. Field inspections, assessing has resumed regular field work. Pending issues, there are none. Next board of review meeting will be the December board of review, which doesn't, they may not have to meet depending on if they get any appeals. And the assessor announcements, none.
All right, motion to accept the assessor's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Farmland preservation.
Yep. Okay. So, we did have a farmland meeting, farmland preservation board meeting, in September. And I'll just have to read through the agenda. I wasn't there, and actually, I haven't been in the office. I've been out on medical, I had surgery. Today's actually my first day back, but I'll read what was on the agenda, what they discussed, and then actually I do have information on the easement. So they discussed the financial reports. We had an update on the Douglas Room Trust application, which I'll talk about in a second. And then they also discussed the 2026 ballot language. They had a discussion about that. And I don't know what the other items. So the good news is, I think the last time I reported, we were still waiting on the county about the easement for the Room property. And it's been going on, I think, for a couple of years. It's been a long time. And we felt bad for them because it's been in the county's hands to process. And finally, on September 18th, we were copied on a email from the county that they finally sent a sales contract for the conservation easement to the rooms. So finally, it's in the works and finally it's getting going, yeah. So we're very happy about that, so I think that's it. That was the big news from the farmland
That's
preservation
great.
board. So,
Perfect. Motion to accept the farmland preservation report. Oh, yeah.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Planning commission. Keith, that's you.
Last Wednesday, we approved the North Star Cell Tower with conditions. And we're gonna send the ADU ordinance for the first reading next month. And do you still wanna start digging into ordinance or fine-tuning or?
Yeah, we need to set up a committee, I guess. Isn't that right, Mr. Allen? Set up a committee to start going through the ordinance.
Just may have the planning commission do it, but either one of the two.
Yeah, we'll start, have that conversation at the meeting.
All right. That's it.
That's it. All right, motion to accept the planning commission, Keith's report.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Urban County, Miss Linda, that's you.
I don't have really anything pertinent for the urban county. I'm planning catching up with the seniors hopefully this week or beginning next week, just to see where they're at, what their needs are, and Go from there.
Very good. Don't have a, man, to accept your, motion to accept Urban County Seniors, report.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There's no code enforcement report. That's now. Miss Stephanie, your grants.
Nothing on my end.
Nothing on her end. Mike, for the roads, what we got?
Nothing.
Nothing on the roads. Man, we're wrapping up through here now. All right. Like to start the public comment at 7:55. 3-minute comment. Say your piece.
Hello, Eileen Cosner. I first want to say that I'm really sorry if I've ever offended you guys with things that I've said. Nothing that I have said has been meant personally. I hope that you know that my heart is, you know, my words are a reflection of the gun range and not you guys. I appreciate everything that you've done for me in that respect. I did apply for a FOIA at Milan. I had 3 questions. I wanted a legal agreement signed between Milan and Augusta Township, a copy of an agenda item that talks about them going before the Planning Commission, and a copy of a special land permit use. And obviously it was denied because none of those things happened. I have that copy if anybody wants to see it. I did do an ordinance violation complaint form. I'm not sure what that person's name is. I've emailed him several times. He never responded, but he did send Mike and Keith out. They came out and listened. They brought the decimal reader. They were there for quite a while, and I appreciate that. In our talking, we did talk about the lease, and like we haven't been able to get an answer on the lease. So I did something that I really am opposed to. I used AI, and so my question was Vern Campbell Park in Milan, Michigan leased to the FBI? And it said no, Vern Campbell Park was not leased to the FBI for 50 years. The city of Milan and the FBI entered into an agreement in 2019 for the FBI to construct a training facility, including a shooting range on about 20 acres, blah, blah, blah. It was an agreement, not a lease. The land ownership, the FBI training center was built on 139 parcels of land that the federal government originally donated to the city of Milan in the 1980s. This is the same larger property. There was an expansion in 22. Milan leaders purchased an additional 47 acres. I believe Kath referred to that at one time in some of her talks. And then the FBI had a training, already had a training center at the prison, and that this has been met with complaints from nearby residents. If you look at the 2 pictures, there's 2 stories. That resident is me most of the time. So I don't know if you want to look at this. I don't know if you care. They're not giving us answers. I thought that was a way to get an answer. I'm not sure if that's like AI is supposed to be the thing, so I was thinking it was a reliable source. Shoot, I had something else that didn't pertain to this. Anyway, I can't remember. But I appreciate what you guys are doing. I know that it's not easy. Sometimes it's hard to get out of your tunnel vision when all that you can see is what's in front of you and what you're listening to every day. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
And Eileen, we do care.
I know,
We do care.
I know. I get caught up in the rhetoric sometimes.
Yeah, I know. We do care.
Good evening. I put a package in front of each of you. My name is Paul Larson, and I live at 8226 Stoneham Drive in Augusta Township. I'm here tonight to provide with you a document that the 17 residents on the west side of Stoneham Drive, Crasheye Drive, and Arthur Avenue put together with 100% support. We believe that the Augusta Township ordinance should be modified to promote a general welfare of rural residential landowners through the creation of 2 new ordinances to address our concerns. We feel this board has authority over the zoning ordinances which regulate the use of land and structures. As more people in the U.S. live near agricultural land with farm operations, nearby the townships have experienced more nuisance complaints for a variety of reasons. Some of our residents have lived in their homes for over 45 years without any issues from the parcel T 2006-200-003 until now. It is the residents' belief that we are currently being negatively affected based on the current approach to the farmers being used. Over the past several years, we have seen approximately 7-foot natural buffer disappear to the point where the farmer is now attempting to farm across the lot line. The natural buffer that used to intercept pollutants, herbicides, pesticides, noise, dust, and other objectionable materials is now gone. As a result, we put together this document for your consideration, which provides the following. 1, understandings where zone topics are referenced in the township ordinances. 2nd, background of the establishment of an agricultural setback buffer by other states. 3, the current situation and supporting exhibits to support each item. A, plowing across a property line. B, plowing under trees and tearing up roots. C, killing residential area property grass with pollutants. D, empty vegetation areas plus areas of invasive plants. And E, we have about 3,060-foot border with 17 homeowners, as well over 110 mature trees close to the lot line. Removing trees if they die due to the roots damage would cost residents between $250,000 to $350,000. Our recommendation for the 2 new ordinances are A, an agricultural setback of 25 feet between HE and RR districts when they abut any districts related to agricultural operations. B, the setback buffer requirements of a type of a native plants that should exist to promote the buffer to the local ecosystems. 5, we list 5 benefits that the rural residents feel will happen as a result of accepting this proposal. 6, we suggest a path forward that ends with this board reporting out to each of the residential owners listed on that document. We thank you for your time and considerations and look forward to your report out. And our ask would be that we have a response back within 2 months. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
So have you guys talked to the farmer? I mean, have you tried to
We've had many discussions with the farmer over the years. None of it at all that was positive.
So I guess, well, my question is, your request is that we look into changing the setbacks of the ordinance from what it is now?
Currently, there is not an ordinance. There's a 25-foot or 50-foot ordinance.
You can't build.
You can't build, because
Correct.
we're asking for a setback of 25 feet from an agricultural perspective, give us buffer, so that he's not coming into our lot line. We're not getting the pollutants and the spray that occurs on our gardens, on our plants. It's also
That's gonna
cutting
be
down the noise.
To be 100% pure honest to you, that's gonna be a hard sell, because what we got is this, we got a lot of people right now that advocate for the farmers. Actually, we have one of our trustees who had to cut some trees for the farmer on his property because he plows right up to the property line. So I guess what happens is, and I'm not saying it's out of the question, but it's gonna be a hard sell. Because you got some of these guys that probably own 2 miles of property that you wanna take 25 feet of. And 2 miles of that's a lot of property in there. You're asking not to, you know what I mean, to buffer, so.
Yeah, I grew up on a farm, so I'm very
Yeah.
familiar with but I'm also familiar that when we have 50 to 60-foot trees that are 3 foot off the lot line, the
Right.
farmer's not getting any yield for 20 feet immediately because there's no morning sun on it, and it's competing for nutrients, it's also for water.
Yeah, well,
So
we'll definitely-
as a result of it, what we have is weeds that are growing up in that area, not cleaning those weeds up, and those weeds are now moving over into the lots.
Right.
So that
So-
was, yeah, I'm sorry, that was my next question, was
Yes.
if you're sure of where the line is. We had the gentleman, a person moved in by us and was trying to say that the farmer was farming over and he had a survey done. And lo and behold, my driveway has this much that belongs to the farmer next door, and I'm like, oh crap.
Right.
But
We've
yeah,
we've
it can
contacted-
backfire.
We've contacted Augusta Township, it went over the lot line, essentially it's the power line. and it's basically very easy to see. So one of the areas that you see there is plow underneath the trees, and when you see the trees, you can see the power lines moving down. And when you look at the other pictures of both north and south of Crest here, you can see exactly where the power lines are going through the trees.
Okay. Is that the owner that you're talking about, the farmer that's on the paper, or?
That's correct.
Okay, I've never heard of that from her before.
And what we see as a result of it, Todd, to your question, if we look at the setback that occurs where we are, we have 3,000 feet. We're asking for a 25-foot setback. What that will do is that basically amounts to 2% of the total property on 80 acres.
Right.
But we're also looking at that we are an RR district, which basically means that we have over an acre for each lot. So, and we're also dealing with the agricultural aspect, so we want to make sure that the ordinance was very specific, so we don't affect larger farmers that are farming against other farmers or against a different type of zoning.
Yeah, well, we're definitely, like I said, we're definitely gonna have to have a discussion with it, and that's something planning's gonna have to work through, but that's gonna be hard. You know, these guys, they wanna farm, they wanna farm right up to your, right up to the road, up to your back door. I mean, it's,
Because they farm right up to the road, it almost seems like they're in
exactly,
the
so
easement.
if you get some of these guys, but it's something definitely
I
we're
appreciate
taking.
it. I have a cousin that lives in Indiana, he's a farmer, he does 860 acres of land. They have setbacks of 50 feet.
Right.
If you look at Nebraska, their setbacks agriculture are 150 feet. So this is not an unfair ask.
Right.
We feel it's very specifically based on the zoning that it is. We feel that should be, pretty much limits it just to that area. And most of us who grew up on farms know that you don't plant underneath trees.
Very good, so well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very good job. Anybody else got anything? We're out here 5 minutes after. Hang on, we got one more
Sorry,
segment.
it's gonna be quick. I'm just a little blown away by the lack of trackability, not with the board, but with F&B, and I don't mean any disrespect, Alan. And so, you know, this leakage thing, it's been just a recurring problem, and it would really, I think, go a long way with the residents if there was a spreadsheet or some way that they're tracking, okay, like, you know, if you're putting your meters or those curb boxes or whatever, to know where they are, and then in a report, they can give out, okay, this past month, we've done this, and we've gone through 100% of this area, and it's good, there's no leaks. I really think that would go a long way, so just a suggestion. The other thing is, Susan, could you give a little bit more information? You made mention of a ballot discussion in your farmland preservation. I know you weren't there, but I'm sure you got some notes on it, and can you provide us?
Well, yeah, so what it is, in 2026, the farmland millage is gonna be up, like the new fire station millage, so it was done in, 10 years ago. So we'd like to renew it, and we're looking at the language that was done back then, 16, I guess it would be, yeah. And I think there was something included in there about Parks and Rec or something like that, and we realized through the years, we haven't dealt with that, or we're not gonna probably deal with Parks and Rec. So we're just looking at tightening up the language a little bit to go for a new millage next year.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All righty. Anybody else? Close this popcorn stand like the end of the public comment at 8. What is it? 8:07. Call the meeting to adjourn. All in favor?
All right, nice.
Good job, everybody.